What is the first word that comes to mind? When we think of teenagers, we associate them with hormones, growing up, and mood swings. I'm currently in the midst of growing up myself, and I'm sure my family knows all too well the mood swings I have subjected them to. But the study of hormones, the chemical triggers of the mood swings that are key features of adolescence, is not as simple as it appears. There are more to hormones than you may think. Let's begin with a quick definition of hormones. A regulatory substance produced in an organism and transported in tissue fluids such as blood or sap stimulate specific cells or tissues in action. But of course, what does this mean to you? Even my head gets messed up every time I read that. Hormones run the lives of every single person in this room, and especially us teenagers. Sometimes we can have outbursts of yelling and screaming, and less than half an hour later we can feel the exact opposite and carry on as if no drama even occurred. Does anyone here remember the first few years of puberty? The years of absolute yelling and screaming and mood swings and always being constantly tired? Well, I do. How do we know that it is not our hormones that are making decisions for us? I can't be responsible every time I yell at someone for going into my room. I think parents and other family members should be more understanding when it comes to our overloaded days, which are filled with schoolwork, and not to mention the crazy thoughts that run through our minds. No one can expect us to think like adults because our brains haven't developed enough yet. I know personally, some days I yell the crap out of my friends and all upset because one of them said I have an unhealthy obsession with the 1960s Paul McCartney. Even though this is true, 10 minutes later, I'll feel perfectly happy again and still in love with Paul McCartney because I saw her standing there. It's a good song, I Saw Her Standing There, Paul McCartney and John Lennon. Brilliant song. People should not be fooled that a teen has full mental power of an adult just because he or she looks like one or behaves like one. The part of the brain that controls thought has not yet matured. Hormones override our minds. We have mood swings almost every single day. But what is going on in the brain here? The prefrontal cortex is part of the brain that deals with planning and controls our social actions. In adult brains, the workload in the brain is shared throughout different areas. In teenagers, this part is working overdrive. Seeing how teens mainly use this one part of the brain, we get tired much quicker, and no wonder we want to sleep in all day, and especially when it's school time. I know that some teachers at school say to me, "Grow up." When you know what? Well, you know what, miss? I'm sorry, I can't. You're just going to have to accept that every time I hear anything sexual related, I have to laugh. Example, that's what she said. Why do teenagers want to kiss the opposite sex, or the same sex for that matter, not to be homophobic? The word is pheromones, the hormone used in animals to communicate to each other. In humans, these hormones attract the opposite sex. In teenagers, why is this hormone stronger than in adults? I think it's because every time I see a lookalike Leonardo DiCaprio, I just follow them around until they get a restraining order against me. See what I mean? Once the rage passes, sadness can creep in, and before you know it, you are happy again. Unfortunately, for us teenagers, we have more than our share of hormones. Our mood swings change the way we make choices, and it's important to make sure we know that if we've done something wrong and to learn to fix them and say sorry. It didn't have to be true, but it is true. Beyond doubt, beyond reasonable doubt, and beyond sane doubt, we teenagers can't control our hormonal minds.